So as we know, changing your swing can be a very long and grueling process. Tests our patience and we think, are we ever going to get better on the other side of this? Well, let me show you my student here, David. So what David has done is quite incredible. He has changed his golf swing, as you can see here from this before and after, at an absolute extraordinary rate. These two videos are only a single month apart from each other. One is early extending and the other staying in posture nicely, turning through the golf ball. 1 month. Early extension is something that is incredibly difficult to get out of your golf swing because it takes a long time. But how David managed to get his swing from this to this in such a short space of time is because he practiced absolutely perfectly. Let's get into this because this is going to help all of you out there. If you can copy David's exact method in his practice, you will make some crazy fast improvements no matter what you're working on. Okay, so first things first, what is he doing? Practice swings. Boring, I know, but practice swings. This is him training his movement here. So what he's doing in this little side clip, he is really feeling like, for his problem, of course, early extension, we were just wanting to retrain the movement pattern because his variables in his golf swing are in a quite good spot. We just need to get his body retrained a little bit. So what he was doing, really getting that left side of his pelvis to really be pushed back, and he's really feeling a lot more side bend coming into the shot here. So if you guys who don't have, or too much side bend, you'll always have a little bit of a vertical movement going through the golf ball. Adding in side bend, right side bend coming through the shot, keeps you in your posture, keeps you turning around the corner. That's exactly what David is doing right here in these little practice swings. So just making sure he's exaggerating the movement, decent amount of right side bend, keeping that right arm bent as a result, and then we see him doing this. So what he's doing here, he's just chipping balls. That's all he's doing. He's chipping balls, doing that exact same motion, just letting the ball going away into his simulator. That's all he's doing. But do you know how long he did that for? He did that for the first 30 minutes of his practice session. Just chipping away. Just chipping away. So all you need to do, just chip away. First 30 minutes to get the movement pattern, record in pretty much every single swing to make sure he's doing what he wants. So that is one big bit that most of you out there do not do, because I get it, it's boring to practice like that, it really is. But again, it's only a month's difference between that before and after. This is key. If he didn't do this, there is no way he would have made that improvement, but that's not all he's done. That's just the first little bit. Okay, so what else has he doing here in his practice sessions? Drills. You know I love drills. So, of course, you can see here he's doing a drill that a lot of you would recognize if you've watched the channel for quite some time, and that is the preset rotation drill, because it gets him in good posture, because he gets to recreate an impact position. So you can see pelvis is back, chest is open, and he's got that good right side bend, right shoulder dropping down to right hip. You can see he's doing tons of reps, just doing this nice preset rotation drill. A lot and a lot of them. So vast majority of all the golf balls he hits whilst he is practicing is with this preset rotation drill. Because of course, to retrain that subconscious, we do need the practice swings. We do need those little kind of slow motion chippy shots, but we need to have a way where we can swing at some speed and somewhat recreate the movement pattern that we want to get into our swing whilst we're hitting the golf ball. So that's where drills come into it. That's why thinking stuff in your golf swing doesn't really do all too much. Conscious thought, you know, and swing thoughts are something that can keep your swing together when you play, but it should by no means be how you're going and trying to implement your swing change. Just thinking something will make you in the state of not improving for months and months and months and months. And you'll probably never get to where you want to if you're just trying to use this to make your swing change. Just thinking, oh, I just want to feel like I'm getting more open. Because as we know, feel is not real. We need something like David is doing here to force you in the positions we want. Okay, so what's he doing next? Yes, there is more. He is exaggerating. So the shots that he's hitting without a drill, without doing those little chippy shots, is he is doing full swings, but he is exaggerating as much as he possibly can. So in these videos, he's really exaggerating, feeling that side bend, feeling that club, really exit left, whipping around with his rotation. And we can see he's really trying to exaggerate it to where he's almost looking quite crazy to some extent. There was one there where he was hitting a 4-iron and he was kind of finishing like here. because that was the way he was able to get that exaggeration to the extent to where he could then implement that into a somewhat foolish speed swing. This is again where we see tour players do this all the time, whether that be Alex Noren before his shots doing his crazy moves going through in his practice swings and then trying to feel the same thing in his shot. We see that non-stop. We see, let's say, Justin Rose with his feel where he keeps his chest quiet and he lets the arms drop as an exaggerated feeling. Absolutely essential. We see Tiger practice on not too early extent by making himself get into crazy flexion. We see it all the time. You have to do it. That's the only way your conscious brain can do really anything, is by exaggerating whilst we're swinging a golf club. So the swings that he's doing normally, without anything helping him, exaggeration. You need to have it in your swing. Okay, so the final thing that he's doing, and that is getting out, hitting balls to an actual target. So you can see here, out on a grass range, not in a simulator, not in his garage area. So this is what a lot of you do all the time when you're practicing. Now, there's not too much wrong with that, but again, if you want to optimize, if you want to speed up your improvement, I'd very much take target away from yourself and leave a little bit at the end of your practice to go and hit some balls to a target. So you could do this a couple times a week, for example. Go to a range, just hit, let's say, half an hour worth of balls, hit a ball to your target. Now, why this is very minimal when David does this, and why we don't really have him hit loads and loads of balls in the range, because, of course, when the target is involved, even on a driving range, you are going to be a little bit more subconscious because you want to hit the ball to your target, of course. That's why your golf swing degrades when you get out on the golf course. It's because your movement patterns that you have, your brain will do its best to be able to hit that target with what you've got ingrained into your subconscious. So if you're someone like David, who's an early extender, even if you put in tons of good reps in your practice where you're looking really good, keeping the pelvis back, turning, you're going to get onto the driving range and you are going to be standing up. It's what your body does to be able to get yourself to hit the ball to your target. It's there to get you to hit the ball to your target. So that's why we need this part in our practice, because it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more, realistic to playing golf, hitting balls to targets. But if we do too much of range practice, hitting balls to targets all the time, and don't compartmentalize our technical portions, we're always going to be in a state of kind of lacking a good speed of improvement. We will absolutely improve without a doubt hitting balls on the range, but it won't be as efficient because your brain will be very much wired to doing your faults to hit the ball into your targets. Why would David, what he did, a little portion in his practice, just a little bit, but more of it in his garage and in that simulator, because even though simulator you're hitting a ball to your target, but it still doesn't create the same response in your subconscious as it would do if the target is actually real and you see that ball flying down there. So if you want to make real fast improvement in your golf swing, this is the way to practice. You do not need to practice every single day. Definitely don't. But you need to practice in a way where, especially if you're making technical changes, you've got to make sure that you are forcing your body to move in a specific way, just as David was shown here with his really good process he goes through. So that's even with myself. Since I got this, the net, my swing has improved dramatically since I've got this. And I do not practice that much at all from being a busy coach and of course making YouTube videos for you guys here. I probably hit balls into this net probably once a week, maybe get to the driving range once a week. So David is beating me massively in the process, but because I'm hitting balls into this net, I'm able to get better repetitions. So that's where the portion of making sure we're putting swings on where we're forcing ourselves to get into a good spot. So learn from David here, and then you will make a good change in your golf swing. Remember, just like anything, it takes time. Repeat it over and over and over again. The process is boring, it's monotonous, but what we get on the other end of it is playing better golf and enjoying this sport way more. Everyone can do it. So if you like this video, of course, click that like button if you want more golf instruction, just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. And if you want online lessons with myself, just like David here, you can see tons of videos on my channel where I have my students featured in it. So you can see it's very unbelievably good way to improve your golf swing is online lessons. There is a link in the description, and you can work one-on-one with myself, and we can get you, especially over this winter time, into a really good spot for next season.